Hello and welcome. My name is Mary Hunter. I'm chair of the Clatsop County Democrats. Thanks for coming today. We're excited to have this opportunity to get to know you a little bit better. So please tell me your name and the position you're running for.
My name is Brent Warren, and I am running for Gearhart City Council, position 3.
Okay, thank you. And what has moved you to take on this role in the community?
Well, I was drafted 2 years ago to serve a remaining 2-year term when our mayor was elected. And so I was hoping that someone would step forward to run for the open seat this November, and nobody that I felt comfortable with stepped forward. So I decided to run, and that's why I'm doing it.
Okay, thank you. And what experience or background do you have that you feel prepares you for this position?
Well, in addition to the 2 years that I've been on the Gearhart City Council as an appointed member, I have a background in community development banking and have been involved in lots of nonprofit organizations, affordable housing mostly. I have been working behind the scenes in various governments, both city, county, metro, and state. But I've never held elected office before. And so this is a new experience for me. I actually prefer working behind the scenes, but the field of candidates really hasn't surfaced. So here I am.
Okay, and you mentioned that you have a background in finance, right?
Yes.
So can you talk a little bit about what sort of areas of finance?
Sure. Well, I started off my career, my college was in education. I started off as an elementary school teacher, and my timing was probably the worst in the history of education because states were passing property tax limitations, including Oregon. And so there really weren't any permanent jobs. So I substitute taught and hated that. I signed up at a temp agency for a Christmas break, and I was supposed to have a 2-week job working for a bank, and it ended up a 33-year career. So I did lots of different things during those 33 years. Most of it was in community development banking, first-time home buyer mortgage lending. I did first-time home buyer training. I was a founding board member of the Portland Housing Center, chaired the Oregon Bankers Association Community Involvement Committee for several terms. Been a Habitat for Humanity board member, both local affiliate and Habitat for Humanity of Oregon. I've been board presidents of both of those. So that's kind of my finance background. I did low-income housing tax credit investments, small business lending.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
So, and that's why I was recruited by two mayors ago of Gearhart to be on the budget committee for the city. So I started on the budget committee, and then the mayor came up with a small business committee to help businesses through the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
And so I served on that for about 1.5 years, and it was an ad hoc committee to help businesses through. And we found out some information through surveying business owners and residents what types of businesses Gearhart people wanted. And I think that because of that background, I was chosen by our former mayor to serve as an interim appointed city councilor.
Uh, you mentioned you as part of that you did a survey that showed what sort of businesses people of Gearhart would like to have. I'm curious if that has given you any insight into perhaps just diversification that the Gearhart economy could use.
Well, Gearhart's an interesting city, and it's part of the attraction that brought my wife and me here in the first place, that it is not tourist oriented. It is, the businesses in Gearhart primarily serve residents, not tourists. And we appreciated that of Gearhart. We also appreciated the fact that they had already dealt with short-term rental regulation, and the leadership of the city, the wisdom to foresee the outcome of having short-term rentals on an unregulated basis. So, lessening the feeling of community, increasing home values and rents. So the survey that we did, getting back to your question, was it was a little bit all over the map, because some people wanted more tourism to be brought in to spice up the economy.
Mm-hmm.
We have a comprehensive plan that's very important to the city. The comprehensive plan really dictates the direction the city goes. And so businesses that primarily support outsiders tourism is discouraged. And there are those who don't agree with that, but that's the way that the city is set up. It's why most people came to Gearhart in the first place. And so I fully support that. We did see results of the survey. Affordable housing was a huge issue with businesses, because they are having huge difficulty hiring people because they can't afford to live here, or frankly anywhere close to here. So a lot of the lowest paid workers are having to drive just outlandish distances, increasing our traffic and pollution. So workforce housing is something that we need to work on. I'm currently serving on the Clatsop County Housing Task Force.
You mentioned that workforce housing is a huge issue. What other issues do you see in the next 4 years that will be big issues for Gearhart, and how would you deal with them?
Well, a couple of the issues are the location of our, we need a new fire station. We had an attempt at a fire station just north of our city limit, and had a bond vote in May that went down to defeat. The primary reason that the opposition gave was what the city had proposed was too much money. The bond amount was significant. So we're back to square one. We're looking at alternative sites. There is a contingent in town that wants it be rebuilt at the site where the fire station has been for the last 60-something years. It's at an elevation of 27 feet. It's in the tsunami inundation zone. the city does not feel that that's a very prudent choice to have a fire station that we will be dependent upon at a crucial time. If a tsunami, well, I should say, when a tsunami happens, we don't know when. It could be tomorrow, it could be 20 years, it could be 50 years, it could be 100 years. But statistically, a tsunami will happen. It'll hit the coast. We don't know exactly how big it is or will be, but having the facilities and resources to rebuild our community after it's devastated doesn't make much sense to me to be in an inundation zone where the tools and equipment that we will need will be destroyed. So that's going to be a huge challenge. We're trying to figure out where we go from here. We are also experiencing tremendous growth. People, for some reason, must really like Gearhart because we have a lot of new residents moving in. Had more construction in Gearhart, more new homes built in the last 3 years than in anyone's memory. We have taken another look at our urban growth boundary limit and have determined that years and years ago, when the urban growth boundary was established, the data that they used to create it was not entirely accurate. So the available lands inventory counted lands that are in flood zones, tsunami areas, wetlands. So they gave us credit for more land than is actually available in our urban growth boundary. And the building rates, instead of doing 2 to 3, 4 houses a year, we're now at 22, 23 houses. So we have less land available than we thought, and we're building at a much faster rate. So we're going to have to do something, adjust our urban growth boundary. And that is controversial, and we'll have to work through those issues.
Okay, thank you. So that's the end of the questions I have prepared. Is there anything else you would like to add?
Where will this be presented?
This recording?
This recording.
When all of the interviews are complete, we'll be posting them to YouTube and social media, and we'll send you a link.
Okay, fantastic.
Okay, great.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming. Have a nice day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.